Hello, and welcome to Payroll Training. Today's training covers Fair Labor Standards Act, or FLSA, overtime reporting. This is a federal requirement. It does not change union contracts, negotiated overtime rules, or pay rates. We'll walk through what changed, what did not change, and what you need to do when completing and approving timesheets. A new federal law, sometimes referred to as the One Big Beautiful Bill, or OB3, requires Michigan Tech to separately track and report FLSA overtime. This applies only to FLSA overtime. This is a reporting and compliance change, not a pay change. The Fair Labor Standards Act was enacted in 1938 to establish basic worker protections. It created national standards for wages, hours of work, and child labor protections. It is administered and enforced by the U.S. Department of Labor. FLSA overtime is time worked over 40 hours in a single week. It is based on actual hours worked, and it is a federal requirement. FLSA overtime must be recorded separately, approved correctly, and reported on W-2 Box 14, starting in 2026. Contractual overtime still applies exactly as written. This includes daily overtime, weekly overtime, callback pay, and contractual comp time. All of these are contractual benefits, and they continue unchanged. Federal FLSA overtime is separate. It must be identified first before contractual overtime is applied. Contractual overtime is not FLSA overtime and is not reported in W-2 Box 14. FLSA overtime will appear separately on your W-2 Box 14 starting in 2026. This supports accurate personal tax reporting. In some cases, this information may allow you to take a deduction on your federal tax return by completing Schedule A, Part 3 of Form 1040. Incorrect timesheets may not be correctable later, and payroll cannot reconstruct worked hours after approval. All right, here is the key rule. FLSA overtime is allowed only if 001 hours exceed 40 in the week. FLSA overtime must be recorded first. Contractual overtime may be applied after FLSA overtime is established. Union employees may record both FLSA overtime and contractual overtime. In this example, total 001 hours exceed 40. First, record FLSA overtime units, then record contractual overtime, and those contractual overtime hours reduce your 001 hours accordingly. The order matters. If 001 hours are less than 40, there is no FLSA overtime. Only contractual overtime is recorded in this situation. FLSA comp time is earned only after an employee works more than 40 hours in a week. It is earned at 1½ hours for each FLSA overtime hour worked. It is based strictly on actual hours worked and is subject to federal caps, usage rules, and payout requirements. For FLSA comp time, the base hour worked is stored in the same comp time bank as contractual comp time. That bank represents straight-lined hours. The key difference is how the premium portion is stored. 1 hour is deposited into the regular comp time bank, and the half-hour premium is deposited into the FLSA comp time bank. That bank tracks premium hours only. FLSA comp time balances do not roll forward year to year, and they are paid out at year end in biweekly 26. In this example, 001 hours exceed 40. The employee chooses FLSA comp time instead of cash overtime. 4 straight line hours go into the comp time bank, and 2 premium hours go into the FLSA comp time bank. Together, this equals 6 hours of comp time value. Do not apply contractual overtime before identifying FLSA overtime. Do not reduce 001 hours before confirming FLSA overtime. Do not assume contractual overtime replaces FLSA overtime. Employees must enter hours accurately and record FLSA overtime correctly. Supervisors must review for accuracy and approved work hours and FLSA overtime units. Payroll provides training and processes approved records, but cannot reclassify time without corrected timesheets. Corrected timesheets are accepted, and the look-back period is open until fall. Corrections require a manual corrected timesheet and supervisor approval. Email requests cannot be processed alone. Accurate entries required at submission. Reach out to payroll before submitting or approving timesheets. Contractual overtime and FLSA overtime must remain separate. During the transition, payroll will review overtime entries for FLSA compliance. If you have questions or unique situations, contact payroll before submitting or approving your timesheet. Thank you.